everyone. Happy Monday. There she is.
There she is.
We had Sandy and then we lost her. Are you having weather, Sandy?
We're getting ready to. I thought Marianne dropped out. I had to go all the way out, come back in, and
Nope. It just dropped you out. That's was funny.
All right. Well, here's the last one.
We're live, Sandy.
I'm sorry.
That's cool. We are live now.
Okay.
We are live. We thought we'd go live, and if you were able to make it back in, we'd just bring you in. So, hey, everybody. Happy Monday. How are y'all doing? Let's see who's here. Well, Sandy Rath, first one in there, but she's on the screen with us now. She's going to make the entire book with us live. Hi, Lucy. Hey, Julie. Candy's here with us as well on screen. And hey, KK. Margie's here. Might be having some weather. We're supposed to have rain all day, 100% chance. But it didn't say like thunderstorms or, big heavy things, just rain. So hopefully that rain won't cause any complications like the other night when it knocked me off 3 times. Hi, Donna. Welcome. Just a rainstorm with a little thunder, but if the lightning starts, I'll have to shut down. Yeah. Jello, everyone. Glad to see you all here. And I am almost prepared.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia. Let's go over what you need today. Now I set it right in front of me and now I can't find it. Okay, so to this point, we have already made our cover of our journal and we covered the spine. We've covered the inside. Okay, I will tell you that if you want to put an eyelet or a ring fastener on your spine, then this is the time we want to do that. And we'll do that first. I'm going to put one on, so we'll do that very first. Okay, and then we're going to work on our signatures. And so we need 3 bundles of paper, 3 bundles of paper each that have 10 pieces of paper in them. I did pull out some 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. It's not cardstock, it's just paper. So it's about as thin as these coffee dyed pieces of copy paper. And I've got a couple of things that, I don't know, paint or gel print or something. I'm going to use this as an idea book. So I didn't want to put my very best paper in it. So I've got 3 bundles of 10 sheets each to do that. Okay, and then we need a piece that is 2.5 by 8.5. That is going to be our spine, our hidden spine. Now, what I made the book out of was this thick, really thick chipboard. Okay, and the piece.
Nice.
Hang on. Ignore. The piece that I am making the hidden spine out of is quite a bit thinner, as you can see. And the reason for that is this one's nice and flexible. It's thicker than cardstock because I want it to hold up. I don't want it just to get torn up and fall apart. But I want it lighter than this one because I want to be able to poke holes in it and get my signature sewn in fairly easily. And I want to be able to glue it to the spine and not have it standing up, in a huge, a big hump. So if you've got, I originally said have 2.5 by 9. We've used one of them on the spine. So now I will say take the second one and cut it down to 2.5 by 8.5. I need to check this. It might still be 2.5 by 9. 2.5 by 8.5. And if you can make it thinner than your first one, I would do that. The easiest way to do that, do I have one right here? I don't, is grab a paper pack. And on the back of the paper pack, or even the front, the cover of the paper, that's what this is. The cover, the back cover of a paper pack. Super easy. It's the perfect weight. Had a bunch more people come in. Let's see.
Yes, Sheila would come in.
Hi, Sheila. How are ya? I know. Hello, kitty kitty. And her name is KK. KK. Oh, it always makes me want to talk to her. So no, Julie, we only need one. We've already used one of these on the spine. So that one gets put away. That's our sample. We only need one of these for the spine. We also need a piece of paper that we can cover this with. So it just needs to be as big as the 2.5 by 8.5 with maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on each side. Okay, we're going to cover that so that when we mount it in the book, it looks like it's part of the inside of the book. And that spine is hidden and you can't tell. So first thing I'm going to do is double check the size of this piece right here.
Laura said she's sad to confirm it's definitely a Monday.
Hey, Laura. Yeah, it sounds like it's kind of definitely a Monday for everybody. Oh, so welcome, Laura. You fit right in. Okay, 8.5 by 2.5. So I'm good to go on that. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for a minute because first thing we're going to do, let's see, I'm going to need this. The first thing I'm going to do is mount my ring fastener. Now, if you're going to put a ring fastener or an eyelet, I want to make sure I have it right side up. That's right side up. Okay. You do not have to put one on, only if you want to put one on. And it's easier to put it on before you do the hidden spine. You can do it afterwards. It's not impossible to do it afterwards. It's just easier to do it now. So if you do want to put an eyelet and you have that handy, or you want to put a ring fastener and you have that handy, let's do that now. So I'm looking at this ring fastener right here. Let's see if I can get something white behind it so that you can see. Okay, and basically it's a brad. It's a brad. When I put it in, then those legs, separate there. And I notice that if I turn the legs sideways, the ring goes with them because it's all one piece there. So that means my brad legs have to go up and down on my spine like that. And I would like to have them covered by the spine that I end up gluing in here. And so if I glue it in and I'm going to kind of center it from top to bottom, okay, then that's where it's going to be. And if this is going to be covered, then it would need to be down about that far. So if I
joined us.
What?
Glynis has joined us.
Hey, Glynis, welcome back.
It feels like Friday where she's at. She's at church with a high schooler.
Glynis
Margie loves Mondays. Yeah, I love Mondays too because I don't work anymore.
I do too. I love Mondays because it's Monday Jump Start.
Yeah.
It's always something fun to start the week. And that's why we do Monday Jump Start. Laura, to turn that upside down and make it a fun day, a positive day, a good way to start your week. Because, I hate that everybody dreads Mondays. I want it to be something we look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay, that tells me that it needs to be down about that far in order for the legs to be hidden under there. Now, I could cut off that leg if I really didn't want it down that far.
Silly said she knows it's Monday. How she knows? She spilled the coffee beans. Ground up. Wait, not done. Ground up the beans. Spilled the ground up coffee. Proceeded to add water to the coffee machine. The coffee machine tipped over. Went back to bed.
That's it, Sylvia. Go back to bed. Take a nap. Take a nap until it's time for Monday.
He's having the worst Monday so far, ladies.
Monday Jump Start. That should turn everything around.
Turn your crown upside down.
Really? I'm going to measure how far this is from the top. And it looks like the center is about 1 inch. Because I'm going to come out here and I'm going to check again. Just make sure I have it right side up. And I'm actually going to turn it upside down. I just wanted to make sure I'm working at the right end. And I'm going to measure 1 inch down. And that's going to be where it needs to be. Let's see, right there. And now I want to be centered. You could take time and measure from left to right and see where your center point is, or you can kind of eyeball it because, you know, your eyeballs are pretty good by now. You make enough stuff that your eyeballs are pretty good. So I'm going to put a dot right there. That looks pretty centered to me. And if you want to see how good your eyeballs are, then make your dot and then grab your ruler and then double check it. And let's see. It should be right at 1 1/4. Right there. Yep, I'm right on. And after you do that a couple of times, then you'll start to trust your eyeball, eyeballing it. Now, you can use an awl to poke through this, but a crocodile is a whole lot easier, depending on how thick your chipboard is. And mine is pretty thick, so I'm going to grab my crocodile. All right, and I want the let's see, where's my little ring fastener? I just moved it. I think I want the largest hole. So let me move my guy back here. Check that. Okay. The hardest part is being able to see where the little thing is at the same time. So let's see. I can see where the little foot is coming out, but then it's harder to see where my dot is to get it right over the dot. So is that, and then there's a glare, so I can't see. I'm going to move it over here where I have a little bit better light. Sorry. Without that glare.
Violet or dangle or whatever to make for dangles later. That's what it's for.
Yeah. So if I'm going to use this as my idea book, this is why I'm putting a ring on here. And you could put an eyelet. And if I put the eyelet, I would put it closer to the top. Definitely. Because if you put an eyelet, then you're going to put a ring through the eyelet that's going to go through the book and around like this. So you want the eyelet a little closer to the top. And by doing this, if this is my idea book, then I am going to put different types of things on here that we make so that I can reference them as ideas. So I might put a charm dangle. I might put a kind of a tassel type of dangle, big ones, little ones, all kinds of different ones that we make. Probably put one of the boho beads that we did on there. So just, samples of everything. And those are not things that really go inside the book, but they hang. So this is a large enough ring that I could hang, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things off of it. And then when I move to another idea book, I could put a couple of them on that one if I wanted to, but a place to keep those ideas. So if I wanted to put gold over this, I probably should have done it before I put that down, but I didn't. So I may end up just putting some gold trim on the 2 sides and leaving the polka dot there. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's an idea book, so I'm not super worried about it. Doesn't have to be perfect. We didn't want to use our best stuff. Okay, so if you've got your eyelet or your ring fastener in there, and again, if you do an eyelet, do it closer to the top. And if you do an eyelet and you don't have it right here, you can always do that a little bit later. Okay, so now I'm going to move the book aside. And I'm going to move my 2.5 by 8.5. If you don't have that, go ahead and get that. This is a little more flexible. Oh, and the doorbell is ringing. Shoot, I just can't tell if it's delivery or what it is. Hopefully it's not a delivery I have to sign for. Okay. Oh, I wonder if I should go check it.
You better come check it.
Well, I see somebody pulled up in front of the house. I can peek out my window. My window goes to the front of the house. And I don't know who he is. So.
You got a gun?
Yes.
She's got a dog. Just get the dog to bark.
Don't usually talk about that online, Sandy, but yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I always go to the door with one here.
Yep. Oh, habit. Okay. He's got back in his car. So I don't know. I don't know who it is. It's a black car. If anything happens to me, a tall, thin man in a black car.
Okay.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I'm surprised Lucy didn't start barking when he came to the door and rang the doorbell. She always does. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to move this to the side for a bit. And let's now look at our paper. I need to make some space here. Yeah, I usually just totally ignore it, but it was not a vehicle that I recognized, and it definitely wasn't UPS or FedEx. Oh, Glennis, your package came today, by the way, just so you know.
Black suit and sunglasses.
He had on a black tracksuit and a black.
She's doing Men in Black.
No, that's what I'm going. It was a black tracksuit, but not a black suit. And
that's
he did
a creeper right
and
there.
he did have dark sunglasses on.
Who the hell wears tracksuits anymore?
It's funny. Yeah, but really the Men in Black look. Let's see here. Okay, so get me back in the right headspace here where I am. Okay, so I've got 3 packages of 10 papers each that'll be for my 3 signatures, and I have 3 pieces of cardstock that I'm going to use as a cover for each of the signatures. And all that does is separate the signatures and gives me that little bit of, heavier duty cardstock at the beginning. It's easy to put pockets in there, add some stuff on that. It's one more place to, to be able to put things, and it just gives, adds a little color that connects with the cover of the book all the way through. I just pulled them out of the same paper pack, and then I know they're kind of bright and shiny there because they are foiled. So I'm going to set those aside for a moment and deal with the paper. So let's take one signature at a time. Well, let's just start with that one. Okay, so we know that our book was sized to be a cover for 8.5 by 11 paper that would be folded in half like that, and that's our signature size. So this was a piece of scrapbook paper. It's already been partially cut down. It is a little bit long over there. Okay, so let's start here. I'm going to kind of lay out these pieces that I have, and the only purpose for doing this first is to choose which one is going to be the center of this signature. And the reason you do that is because when you open your signature, the center fold is the only one where you see the entire page together. So if something has a design on it that you like the continuity, or if it's a gel print or something where you'd like to see the whole thing on one page, then that's a nice thing to put in the center. If there isn't one, and on this signature, I'm going to say there really isn't one. There's not one jumping out at me that I'd like to have in the center. So I will use this pretty purple one, and I'm going to, this is a 12 by 12, and I need to make it 8.5 by 11. So I want to make the most use of it. So I can fold the bottom up. Okay, I need it to be 8.5 tall and 11 wide, right? So if I go to I'm just looking at my, what is it? My glass board here for the measurements. So if I go to 8.5, 8.5 is right there. And if I flip around the other side,
made that print that Sandy has. I want to know if she made that.
Yeah, that is gorgeous. Sandy, do you want to tell them about that page you're using as your center?
Actually, I bought this from, she's in another group, Lisa McCarthy.
You should invite her to join. That's gorgeous.
I buy these from her because I don't know how to do this.
They're super pretty.
Yeah, they
super,
are.
super pretty. Yeah, we'd love to have her in the group and show us what she does. Is it a gel plate or is it alcohol ink or?
No, it's Eco Dye.
Eco dye. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so those are leaves from her yard.
Okay. So
yeah.
I marked 8.5 on the top and the bottom, or left and right, actually. And so I just get a straight fold. I'm going to put my ruler right here just to line them up, just because it's a big page. It's 12 inches. And I'm just going to kind of crease it a little bit right there. Okay. And then I'm just going to fold that up. And now I have 8.5 high. So now it fits in the height, and I've got automatic pockets built in, but I know it's still a little long because it's 12 inches and I need it to be 11. So I could fold this over and use a tuck on the edge, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to trim it off at 11 inches. And I can save that little strip. I can decorate somewhere with that and bring the color of this paper somewhere else. Okay, so that's 11. And that is in nice and tight. Okay, there we go. So I've cut 1 inch off, and I now have 8.5 by 11. All right, so I'm just going to start with this one, and I'm going to fold it in half. This is going to be the center page. Just going to line it up and fold it. I would not score these because you start to break down the fibers in the center, and then you're going to make holes in it, and it's going to get folded all the time, and you don't want them to just get worn down and tear. So, okay, so now I'm going to take the rest of... Oh, wait, this one was too long, too. I think this is 8.5 high. It is 8.5 high, but it's also 11 long. So I'm sorry, 12. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that 11. And I'm doing this because if some of you pulled out scrapbook paper, you're going to need time to cut them down as well. And I don't want you to get left behind because you're busy making your paper the right size. Okay, so before we decide exactly what order they're all in, let's go ahead and just fold everything in half. All 10 pieces of paper, let's just fold them in half. So there's 1, there's 2, and don't even worry if they're not exactly perfect because they're actually not going to be lined up with each other when they're in the book. So, and don't worry about what direction you're folding them, which side is up or down at this point either. That is something that you'll decide as we put them in. Okay, so we're going to get these 10 pieces of paper. Boy, I've got a frog in my throat this morning. Today. It's not morning anymore. It's noon. Okay. This is number 9. And number 10. So if you're going to use it as your idea book, then hopefully you didn't use your very favorite paper. So you could save that for a cool book that you're making for yourself. And this is where you'll just have all your ideas and make your notes and things like that. Okay, so I know that I've chosen this one to be my center. And now I need to look at the rest of the papers, rest of the pages, and decide what order they're going to be in. Now, if they have, if they're just coffee dyed, fine. If they have color on them, right now I'm going to put the color on the outside just so I can see what it is. It's kind of a weird painty one that I wouldn't use in a good book. And those 3 are all coffee dyed. Okay. All right, so this is going to be my center. If I've got some that have color on them, I kind of want to space those out throughout. So I don't want all my coffee dyed ones together and then all my colored ones together.
Hello, Toby.
Hey, Toby. Hope you're feeling better. It's a little more visually appealing to the eye to be able to go from the color to the solid, to, plain to the color back and forth. So I would kind of spread those out. So I'm not going to put one of these as the next page. I will use a coffee dyed. And none of these are really super special coffee dyed. They're very cool looking, but I had to choose, like, I really love this, but I had to choose, not my absolute favorite ones. All the coffee dyed ones are my favorite ones. So okay, so if I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, I can basically go every other one. So I could put something with some color in here. Now, let's just put it on, and then we'll talk about one more thing. And then I'll put a coffee dyed one, and then I'll put some color, and then I'll put a coffee dyed one. Then I'll put some color. I'll put this one. And then I'll put a coffee dyed one. And I'll put some color. And then a coffee dyed one. Now that's kind of odd. I don't normally have the exact same amount of color as coffee dyed. I really don't. I'm trying to use up some of these colored ones because they're not ones that I really like all that much. That's why there's so many, because normally it would be, majority coffee dyed or something special to that color. And then say I had only 3 colored ones, I would just intersperse them, one near the beginning, one in the middle, and of the signature, and then maybe the one becomes the center, and that's fine. So now I'm going to look at this. Okay, if this is my signature, I want to look at each piece, because if this has direction, I want to make sure that it's the right direction. Is it right side up? Okay. I also want to look at, like, this one has really great design here. There's a little bit down here, but it's heavier up there. So do I want that at the top or the bottom? Or does it even matter? I also want to look at, like this, anything that has color has 2 sides. Now I'll stencil on the other side, but do I want that color to be like this, so I see that first, or do I want it to be like this, so I see that side first, and that color goes with this? I didn't even, and is this directional? I don't think that it is. I really like that color with this. It really picks up the coffee spots in this one, so I'll leave it like that. Okay, and then this one, this was just a splat page, so it's got a bunch of shapes on it. Do I want the shape? I think I'd rather have the shape on the bottom, probably get covered. So I'm just looking at each page. Does it need to be turned inside out? Does it need to be turned upside down? I'll put that on the outside. And then there's my inside there. Okay, so that's how my signature is set up. And again, normally it would be mostly coffee dyed paper or tea dyed or whatever it is. I try to put something visually interesting in the center of a good book, a nice book, something where it's nice to see the whole thing as one. It's a whole scene, or the piece of paper is just really gorgeous because, as you know, on these others, you never see the whole page together. Okay, so now the other thing that I want to deal with before I bind them is probably need a new, probably about ready for a new sponge there, wouldn't you think? Let's come on.
Yeah, I would think so.
Huh?
I would think so.
It's down to about the 4th layer, which is whatever a thing is made of on the bottom. So let me grab a new sponge. And I'm also I'm going to grab one of these brushes here. I don't have them nearby. Even the great big brush would be easier to use. Okay, so these stark white pages, like this here, like the back of this is lightly coffee dyed, so it's fine. But these that are stark white, I don't really want them stark white. So I want to do something with those. So what I'm going to do, hang on a moment, I'm going to grab a mat. And the reason I'm grabbing a mat is so I don't have to take time to clean it off of here, but I don't want to get ink on there and then be setting my book or paper on it and have it rub off on it. So all I do is take these white ones and then grab a stencil, and it can be a small stencil, it can be a large stencil. I've got some of both right here. In fact, let's see. That's a 12 by 12, so kind of sort of goes over the whole thing. Well, kind of sort of. It leaves a big old ridge around it. And I don't always do the entire thing. With stencils, I really like these brushes. With edging, I really prefer the sponges. Okay, so often I will come in here and get some over here, let it just kind of fade out. Doesn't have to be the same darkness everywhere. This is my part that's folded up down here, so I definitely want some on here. I try to get at the edges on all of it because the edges, you know, kind of stick out white. And I can lift that up and see what I'm starting to get there. So let's just get it a little more color. That's a really big piece of white. So I do want quite a bit of color, although it doesn't all have to be dark. And I like when it kind of fades in and out because then it just looks distressed and aged. Wow, that thing is already bent up. And I just took it out of its package. Up here in the corner.
I love what you ladies are doing with the stencils.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Say again.
What you ladies are doing with the stencils, both you and Sandy.
Okay. What was I thinking? There was something else I was going to say. I'll do some of these with the smaller stencil too. You do not have to have large stencils to do this. And this is just to take that brightness off the page. That's very pretty. And I am going to go around and just get, that's not going to work very well. Paper's thin and it's tearing up the paper. So I'm just going to kind of brush it out just to get a little bit on the edges so that the edges aren't stark white where we usually distress. So you can do this with any color. Let's say you have a book that has, you know, a certain color cover, and you've got a few pages throughout that kind of carry that color through. And then a couple pages later, you've got something like this that's a stark white on the back. You could go ahead and do some inking in the color, which helps carry that color through, and is a really.
Uh-oh, we lost Marianne.
Oh, shoot.
Go, Sandy, go.
Oh, here we go. So these are just a couple of stencils that I had laying.
Yeah, they're loving the stencils. And that's an easy way to add color.
Yeah.
You have a YouTube with sound on.
What's that?
There's a slight echo with you. You have YouTube open?
I do not.
Huh.
Well, it's open, but it's the volume's down. Do I have to mute it?
You might have to mute it. It's just a real faint echo for me.
Okay. Can you hear it now?
Nope, I don't hear it now.
All righty. Bada boom, bada bing. Ask
Yeah,
it, shall receive.
Now if we can just get Marianne back in. Yeah, Julie, I've seen your honeycomb stencils and your bees. They're really pretty. There she is. She's back.
Sorry about that.
Hola.
Yeah, I didn't think these storms were going to do that to me. So, okay, so there's the back of that page. And when I fold that one up, see, that just makes it just gives it a nice visual. It's not quite so stark white, and it softens it up a bit. Okay, so that is my center. So let's work from there. That's coffee dyed. That's okay. This one has paint on it. I'm going to do that. Paint on it. The edges are kind of bright white. So let's just take the brightness off of those. This is probably a page I'll cover up with whatever things I put in my idea book, because it's not really much of anything. I think it's just trying a couple things with the paint or using up the old bottle of ivory or cream paint. It's kind of ugly. Okay, and then the back is pretty white. So let's take this smaller stencil and let's do some things here. Okay, so I can go up here and I can just start stenciling. The stencil is fun because it has all kinds of different shapes and things on it. So I can just move it around and do different parts of the stencil. I always make sure I get the corners. And if I can, get something on the edges, at least just a little bit. I don't need to turn the paper. I can move this. So get some more of that stencil in there. And by moving around quickly, I get it's darker in some spots and lighter in some spots. And that gives it a real natural look. Much more of the faded, aged. I don't like going right up to the edge, though, which I did there. I don't like getting that line, the edge of the stencil line. So let's do this. We can carry that so it doesn't look like edge of the stencil. Let's go up here. Get some up here in the corner. Okay, I think that's sufficient. Okay, so that took the edge off of that one. So I'll go ahead and set that one over. This one is coffee dyed. It's fine. This one is a splat page, so it's got lots of spray and things on it. That's fine. This one's coffee dyed. It's fine. This is scrapbook paper. This side is fine. This side is very white. So, and what I'm trying to do also is, if these are in the same signature, I try to use different stencils on each of them so that, let's see, I'm going to make sure that this is over the edge here, so that I don't just end up with the same stencil pattern throughout the entire signature. Again, just visually more interesting for the eye. What's Candy laughing at?
I don't know.
Oh, sounded like you back there laughing. No?
What with me? I think you're hearing things, Marianne.
Probably. What's going on in chat? Anything?
Nothing much since you came back.
Who's doing their signatures along with us today?
I am.
Yay, Sandy. You better be.
She's doing something.
Really. She's doing something all right. Okay, see what I'm starting to get here? That's nice. And again, I like this where it gets some and kind of fades out, in and out. So I'm going up to the edges and trying to make sure I get something at the edges, because that helps take that stark white off.
Donna's doing it with us, with you guys.
Hey, Dawn. Oh, Donna.
Donna.
Yes, Donna, my sister. She has done, I saw her post in the group. Very pretty. It's her first journal ever. She's done the whole thing with us. That's very cool.
Toby, the makeup brushes that they're using, they got on Amazon. I'm assuming Sandy got hers from Amazon too.
I think so, yeah.
I believe,
I have like, it came in a set with these.
Yeah. I think, Candy, didn't we put, I think I put a set of these in the affiliate links, didn't I?
I don't know if we did or not. The new one.
Okay. If
I don't
But
not,
yeah,
if
they're
not, I'll
marked
do it
as
when it's like a
makeup
set
brushes.
of 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think I have one more somewhere.
I can't remember. A set of 5 or 6. I have a couple.
Yeah, they have all different kinds. They can get different size sets depending on what size you want.
Yeah.
There's one that you can get a bunch of all the same size, like the size Marianne is using. That's the one I use most. So I ended up getting the set that had like 10 of those in it.
Nice.
And then I have the multi-size set. I bought in several sets because I do like them. Much better.
Yeah, I do too. Use them a lot. Probably could use another couple because right now I don't have any of the other sizes near me. And I would have, covering this large of a space, I would have used a larger one.
Larger one, yeah. I have a couple larger.
A larger brush.
Yeah.
But I don't like these for edging paper. I love them using with stencils.
Yeah.
I think they're much better using with stencils because they don't grab hold of the stencil as much as the sponges do and pull it up, you know, and tear your stencils up when you have those little things that stick out.
KK says her Dollar Tree has them. My Dollar Tree
Dollar Tree has typically 2, maybe 3, but they're the teeny tiny ones.
Yeah.
They don't have any of the large ones. They don't carry the large ones, but they do carry the small ones. And the small ones are great when you're wanting to get into little stencils or into small spaces and not accidentally cover, you know, maybe you wanted to just do one of these stars, then you want the small one. You don't want to accidentally get a bunch of them.
So there's that size thing again. Yeah, it depends on what size you like. I mean, I have a couple big ones because I do a couple big stencils, but my preferred size is that size right there that Marianne's using.
Yes,
Okay.
size does matter.
There's another one that this was a gel plate. So let's get the edge. Just take the edge off of the white here. It's just some weird playing with some technique here. In fact, it was in my pile of needs more done on it. You know, take it back to the gel plate and try more things on top of it, get the layering going. But I thought, the colors are okay for this, and I'll just use it up in here, and I won't bother taking it back to the gel plate. Okay, the other side of that one is white, so it needs something. Let me find one more. Here, this stencil has a bunch of borders, but this thing right here is pretty large. So I could...
I'm with you, Laura. Hidden spines are a lot easier because you can hide if your pages go crooked.
Yeah.
You
Hide your binding if it's not perfect and you don't see it on the outside. Yeah, nobody sees anything. And if you're, you know, some people really like a neat, clean spine. If you want a neat, clean spine, that's the way to go because you don't see any of that binding. You know, if you like to see the stitching, then you might not want a hidden spine. So some of the color has bled through, and that's okay. That's totally okay. That just means I don't have to do as much inking. And some of these you have to be careful that you don't pull up the little pieces that stick out. I tend to be pretty heavy-handed when I ink. I know I don't need to press as hard as I do, but I do. I don't know why. Press really hard, and I could do it just barely rubbing it and get the exact same result. Let's see. Let's get this up over the edge here in the corner.
Laura says her mom does the cool button spines. Yeah, those are cute too.
Yeah, the button spines are really cool. Glynis does those on her little golden books. There's a couple of types of bindings on spines that I have not tried that I'm going to that I think look really cool. So I want to try them. And I was just thinking this morning that one of these days, maybe a Saturday Night Live or a Monday Jumpstart, we should do a Japanese stab binding.
Ooh.
That's kind of cool. Get a little bit over here. And I think this one will be good. Let's see. Okay. And if you don't have any stencils handy, you could just grab some ink and just, literally go around like this. Just give it just a little bit of ink to take the white glare off. But if you like the white, leave the white. Don't feel like you have to do that. Okay, and there's number 10. Yay. Okay, so his signature is complete and ready to go. So let me grab the second one. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna try to work through it faster. Now
They
they
get angry. Marty said they get angry to your stab binding.
Yeah. She was saying hangry, and I'm a little hangry. Okay, first thing I need to do.
A journal with elastics, what they would sell. Laura, she's more of a traditional bookbinder. She learned that the pages in spine are not as strong if you glue the spine down, but she thinks this method makes a stronger book.
Yeah, this does make for a good strong book, that's for sure. Okay, I'm marking 8.5 because I've chosen to fold this one up. And on this side, I'm going to mark 8.5 so I can fold it straight. That's all I need to do. Let's see, it's down here. All I need is a little bit of fold to get it started so I know I'm folding in the right spot. There we go. And it's probably still 12. It is, so let's cut that down to 11. I'm excited about everybody that's making a book, especially their first one. It's nice to get that first one out of the way and know that you've done one. I'm sure that this is 12 too. Yeah. Cut this one down while I'm here. Yeah, it's that fear of starting and trying it, but once you've done one, then you're like, I've already done one. So it's not that big of a deal. I just need to do it. Okay. 8.5. A mark. That at 8.5. Make the same mark.
It looks like she has her journals stay stored. She has over 50 journals.
Lucy?
Oh,
Sheila.
I think we talked about that before, Sheila, that you haven't sold any of them. You've kept them all. You should take a picture of your shelves with them on. That would be really cool to see. Or do a speeded up montage of flip throughs of all of them. That'd be cool too. Okay, so I'm just gonna fold all these guys in half. And then I'm going to decide what order they will be in, which one's going to be the center. I really like that one as the center. That was the top of the page, but when I put it like that, it looks upside down. Kind of weird. Okay. Did everybody finish their envelope journal?
Almost.
I made another one and recorded a tutorial doing it. It's got, excuse me. It's kind of a long tutorial because I grabbed some envelopes that have a couple of funky things. And that way I show you how to deal with a couple of funky things if you don't have envelopes with like straight flaps and nice straight pockets. So I recorded that last night. It has uploaded. I just need to get the thumbnail in and set it free. I will do that today. So if you want to put that on double time and watch that, it's one making, if you have time at the end of this, I'll grab it and show you the envelopes. Napkins, envelopes are larger. They're fairly large envelopes. So I thought that might be a little easier to see, and then didn't think about the fact that they had envelope liners inside of them, and they have the pointy flaps instead of the square across flaps, and none of which is a problem. You just need to know how to deal with it. So that's all. All right. So which
Actually, everybody says Lucy says she has about 50 journals as well that she has.
yeah, I've seen some of Lucy's. She makes beautiful journals.
Let's see. She puts hers are in bags and bins. She's thinking of doing TikTok videos with them, though. She stores journals and craft supplies. Sheila said her husband encourages her because he said it keeps her chill. Her first journal was so bad she cut it apart.
Oh, man.
Laura said, and then Margie has a pit of journals she just rolls around in.
She's not petting them, she's laying in them. I'm going to fold this one the opposite direction and use that pretty purple side as the center.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Not the prettiest one in there. So then the pages, the pockets will be on the outside. So then a piece of coffee dyed. I don't know what my ratio of coffee dyed to color is on this one. So put that color next. Do I want that on top or bottom?
Margie says they do need to be petted.
I agree, Margie. I totally agree. Oh, we got a lot of color ones on this one. Coffee dyed. Another. I totally agree. And Margie makes some very cool ones to pet, too. Go the opposite direction. And coffee dyed. I don't know why this feels like more than 10 pages. I better count them. It's probably not.
Sylvia said, it requires me to write in them. So this last envelope journal will be just for my botanical observations.
4, 5. Cool. 6, 7, 8.
Sheila said Margie needs to do a journal petting video that has cats purring.
How to pet your journals.
Cat purring. Yeah.
Okay, that's the second one. See, once you know what you're doing, what you're supposed to do with them, it doesn't take long to knock that out. So, oops, don't drop it. Let's do the third signature here. First thing is cutting these two down. I'm going to cut them to, let's see, what direction do I want that to go? That way. I'm going to cut them to 11. I like taking advantage of the 12-inch size to fold up to be a pocket. So I just need to cut them to 11 on the width. And then the top and bottom can be pocket. Okay, 8.5. Eight and a half. See if I can see my marks. There's one. There's one. Okay, so I'm folding that up. Oops, that is not straight. Which probably doesn't really matter all that much, but you know. And, you know, papers don't all have to be the same sizes. They are right now for this first book we're doing. We're making them all 8.5 by 11. But after, and because I want full pages to be able to put things in for my idea book. But going forward, you know, you can have pages that are smaller, half size or quarter size. They can be in the middle or at the top and the bottom or the bottom. Okay, there's that one. 8.5. Fold that one. Okay. This one is folded inside, so maybe I'll do this one on the outside. Okay. Oh, I didn't do the inking. I didn't do the stenciling on the second signature. No wonder it went way faster than.
Sheila says you can craft or write. She chooses to craft. Lucy says her art journals with watercolor paper are 99% empty. She doesn't write or make art in them. And then Mark said if I wrote in journals, it would be pages of different dates, same stuff.
So, Candy, will you put yourself on and show them that page, that art journal page you just did? It is really, really pretty. This is a technique that we were watching Karen Tamir do. And she has a video on it. And it just turned out really cool. And the thing is, she used magazine pages. She used some gesso. And then she used watercolor pencils and or Stabilo pencils.
And this one we did pattern paper.
There is no paint whatsoever on that page. No paint, no spray. It was really cool. So if you don't want the big mess.
Well, I did spray. I did some sprays on it. Because at the end I needed to blend it up a little for me because of what I want. So what I did was I sprayed some spray on a acrylic block, added extra water to it, and then and let it drip onto the page.
Ah, cool. Okay. So yeah, so that's a really cool art journal page, and I would like to start doing more art journal pages. Are you guys up for that? And getting different techniques like this that we can learn from people who are really, really are experts at it.
I'm interested.
Me too. I've seen some cool.
Yeah, she did a video. It was a live yesterday. She's done it. I've seen it in the past where she's done it with the magazine pages, and I want to try that too. But yesterday she was doing it with pattern paper, and so I had a ton of it right at my desk. You know, the that we already have left.
Yeah, I
and
need to
so I used that, and then some of my scraps. You know, I put some of those in there, and it's not really nice. Her first time, I thought it was and it was
I think it's fantastic. It doesn't even look like it's your first time.
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
You know, that top right corner is not my best thing, but I'll fix that later. I'm not the best with the Stabilo pen yet. The Stabilo pen.
Yeah. Oh, I want this one to be. No, I think it's fantastic. I think you did a great job on it. And if I got that every time, that type of result, that'd be awesome. Okay, reorganizing this. I decided to use this, which was a gel print as the center. So getting this coffee dyed, spread throughout. This one didn't have as many color pages. Let me just check to make sure I've got 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what I didn't do is the stencil on the second signature. So I'll quick do this third, and then I'll do the second. And then we'll get to binding them.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's easy. That's the easy part.
Yeah,
so you guys all have some kind of thread or string to bind them with. You don't want it to be too thick, but you want it to be very strong. You could use embroidery floss. It typically comes in a 6-strand. I would probably go 4, 5, or 6 strands. You could use dental floss. It's very strong. You can use any other kind of string that you maybe tat with or, crochet, those kinds of things. Just grab it and do this. And if you can, if you yank it and it breaks easily, don't use it. Find something that's a little bit stronger. But if you do that and it doesn't break, then it'll be just fine. These are just kind of sloppy pages, so easy to ink up. We'll give this one, how about, oops, I think I just dropped my stencil on the floor.
Of course it went on the floor.
But behind the thing that's next to me, so not so easy to grab.
Julie, grabbed crochet thread, which she waxes herself.
She what?
She waxes crochet thread herself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
wax linen is the best.
Yep, that works too. Not everybody has it on hand.
Oh, Sheila says she just ordered some surgical string to
Nice.
try the recommendation that she got from somebody else.
That I'm confident that that'll work. Yeah, I would use that.
Lucy said if you wax your thread, it does help.
Said what?
You
I
wax
have
it, it does help.
string.
Yes. The wax will make it slide through smoother. If you have a thread waxer, or you even have some beeswax, or you can set this on top of. You could probably even fudge it with chapstick. Set it on the top. Put your thumb on top of it and pull the string through, so it gets a little bit of the wax on it.
I have a spool of waxed thread.
Nice. That'll work.
I'm losing my voice.
You sound like it.
Oh, what the
Darn
hell's
termites.
going on? I felt like I had a fever earlier, but
Uh-oh. Did you check it?
no.
I'll wait till I'm really burning up and know for sure.
Yes, ditto.
Oh, man.
Dang it.
Well, I hope you're not getting sick, Sandy. I really hope you're not getting sick.
Yeah, me too. It's probably because I'm not smoking anymore and I'm not killing those bugs that try to get in my throat. Now they're just all in there willy-nilly.
That's true. Make sure you're getting plenty of sleep, because you need your resistance to be higher right now.
Anyway, it's always something.
Yes, that's the truth. That's the definition of life, right?
Yes, it is. Upsies, downsies.
Yep. Okay. That'll work for me. Put that one over there. This one's coffee dyed, so it's fine. This one's okay on this side. That side could use a little bit. You can see the roses through there, so maybe all it needs is a little bit around, kind of around the outside. A little bit of a frame. A little bit down here. Okay. Interesting that so many of us in so many different parts of the country are having weather today.
Yeah.
Rain and stuff. Okay, that'll work for that one. Just yeah, that's all we've had for the last few
They
days.
have influenza and COVID going around at the moment at work.
No. Oh, that's miserable. All right, I'm looking for what I really want is that stencil that I just dropped on the floor. I think I went back here. Let's see if I can reach it. Well, if it did, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Laying flat. Nope, it is not. There it is. Laying flat against the wall, and I couldn't see it. Okay. Just get some marks on this one here and there. Yeah, I'm really, really grateful to have not gotten COVID.
It is not fun.
Of course, I stayed away from everybody. A lot more online and a lot less in person anywhere with anybody. Haven't been out shopping, doing a lot of social things either, because I don't know. I hate to go 2.5 years and have not gotten it, and then all of a sudden lighten up and end up with it. So I'm very grateful, though. I know there's people who've done just as much diligence as I have, and then they've gotten it from somebody who brought it into them. So. Okay. All right. Don't even need to get down there because that's going to be folded up. Okay. So that's folded up and that's folded there. That one will be just fine. This one's coffee dyed. It's fine. Those two are coffee dyed. One more. Last one. Okay. I only brought over a small handful of stencils. So let's give this one some stars.
Lucy says she thinks most of us will get it at a point or have had it but don't even know it. Yeah, there's a few that have had it and don't even know it.
Yeah, I do think that. And everybody I know that's gotten it after getting vaccinated, it's been substantially lighter. I know that I haven't had it because several times I've been tested multiple times, and they have the rapid test that tells if you have any of the antibodies in your system. So that tells if you've ever had it. And then there's the test that tells if you currently have it. And when I do the one that says, have you ever had it, it's negative as well. So no, I haven't. But I agree that it's going to, it's going to just be a mainstream thing like the flu, where we're likely all to get it sooner or later. But I'd rather not just give into that and try to avoid it as long as I can.
My son had it. He was asymptomatic. He didn't have any symptoms.
Really?
We all got it. The only thing he had was aching joints.
Wow.
Most people will take that as just
Working too hard or been
too
active for the weekend or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we had.
Yep.
And my youngest son, he didn't have it as bad. He didn't get the cough. He had the headache and the joints. He had the headache and the joints.
Wow.
And one son had the vaccine, one didn't as well.
Interesting. The asymptomatic one was the one that
Didn't have it.
didn't have the
Vaccine. Yeah.
That's interesting. That his chemical makeup,
Yeah.
he more kind of he was a carrier but never got it.
The worst one in the house was my daughter-in-law. She was worst.
Right.
None of the rest of us had it bad at all. I mean, we had it, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I had a cough, but not near as bad as she did.
Oh my gosh, but your cough was bad. If hers was worse.
That headache was just awful.
Yeah.
It did not go away.
It is hard to function with a constant headache. You can't think clearly. I really feel for those people that get migraines all the time. You just can't think clearly.
Oh, I can't do that anyway. So I'm glad. The good thing with the migraines is
Way worse with a migraine. A migraine, you wouldn't be able to think, let alone clearly. Okay, we're going to call that good. So that one folds up and over there, and then these two are both coffee dyed, so they're both fine. Yeah. All right, so that is the third signature. Now let me grab the second. Ignore. Let me grab the second signature because that's the one that I forgot to ink. Wish I'd grabbed more stencils now, but I didn't, so deal with what we have right here. Getting caught in each other.
the camper's on the way back. Catch you later.
Okay, bye.
Ella.
Thanks for hanging out with us for a while. All right.
Julie's exhausted with everything that's going on this past year.
Yeah,
Dad. So.
maybe it's time to slow down and just get some rest, Julie. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself so that you can make it through the next year, So, okay. So, Stamperia pre-order, those of you that are interested in the Stamperia, I put in a pre-order. Those of you who put in the post things that you would like, They are on the pre-order, and you are guaranteed to have those. If you did not, and you want to go look at the stamp period today, there's not a whole lot to be able to show you except the videos that they put out, and they haven't even released it all yet. But to get it in a timely manner, I need to get that pre-order in. So I already did that. But if you go look at it today and there's something that you want in that pre-order, I could send my rep a message and get something added on today. But after today, then it would be too late. It would just have to go in my next order. All right. Let's see. Basically just getting some shapes and some texture here and there. That'll work for me. Okay. Okay, so that one goes there. This one is coffee dyed, so it's good. And then this one, I think that side's okay. Oh, that side could use a little bit of something. Just give it a little bit of, just a little bit here and there. Not even a whole lot. Oops. Hate when they bend. And I know a lot of that is just me being heavy-handed with my brush. I push down hard to make sure I'm getting the color off that I want, but I'm trying to lighten up. Lighten up, lady. Okay. Bring that back. Let's see. A little bit up top. A little bit over in the corner. So next, let's see. What do we have? We've got Thursday mass make. Okay, and we don't have a Saturday night this week. Oh, that's good because I need that night to get ready. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. This one is coffee dyed. This one is not.
Maria didn't really impress her this time. None of them really spoke to me. Too many people, not enough flowers. Julie said she hadn't looked yet at the stamp area. The backgrounds for the Desire was...
The backgrounds are phenomenal. Yeah. They were amazing. And I will say that the Desire, it did have a lot of people in it. However, it has a lot of good stuff that can be cut apart. And don't always have to be used.
Stencils, didn't it?
The stencils are cool. Yeah. Let's see. It was the you. What is it? Not You and Me. We. Well, what's that other one? What's the one with the two ladies?
Oh, I don't know.
That's the one that had cool.
Well, I'm glad that they didn't impress me as much. So there's.
I'm not buying as much. I know. I know the fabric for Desire is really cool. There are some singles in Desire that the black and white and red that are way cool and don't have people on them. Yeah. So I'm going to get, or I already ordered a bunch of the singles, so we'll get a bunch of those. There are some singles in the, We Adventure, what is that one called? I can't think of it. I don't know. There are some singles in that one that are way cool. So I got a bunch of those, and there are some stencils in that one that are very cool. I did not go overboard on stencils and molds and things. So if you like some of those stencils, you probably want to let me know so I can do an add-on because I'm not going to have a ton of them.
Yeah, it was the Desire. Let's see, what was the other one?
What was the other one called?
Our Way.
Our Way. Yeah, I kept wanting to say we.
Rice papers and stencils.
Our Way had some great singles, some great stencils, and some great rice papers. Yeah.
Create Happiness. They had some good stencils.
Create Happiness had good stencils.
Couple. They had like 3.
Wait a minute. It's the Create Happiness stencils I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and even the Our Way had a couple stencils I wanted out of that.
Yes, and I did get those too.
And the Bay House. The Bay House.
Yeah, are any of you familiar with that? That's a style, kind of like Klimt. Candy's very familiar with it.
Only because of the font stuff I took. Yeah, you
was
can make a design with fonts like that. So it had some cool fabric too.
Yeah, it had some cool fabrics. I did get a pack of the fabrics. Candy's already gets the first one.
And then I didn't think they had backgrounds for the Bay House, but it would be cool.
No. Yes, they would, and I didn't see any there were no backgrounds available to order.
Yeah. If you ever see stuff, I'd like to know.
Yeah, they don't all. I wish they all had backgrounds. They don't all. I did order some of the chipboard die cuts of like Our Way. They were cool, and Desire, because there are cool ones in there, the black and red.
Yeah.
Trying to think of anything else.
Okay, now let me get back here.
Okay. All right, that one's good. This one.
Martha, she's gonna get some later. We'll wait for Marianne to video them.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't place a huge order this time because I still have a ton of Stamperia and Minte, and because I'm working on getting the website up.
Thankfully, this just wasn't quite our style this time.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. I don't think there was as many. I did, and I know you probably couldn't see these, so this probably made a difference. But I did think that there was a bunch of singles that were our style.
Yeah,
even though the whole pack wasn't. So,
yeah.
So I did get a bunch of singles.
Yeah, because I was waiting on the Desire signals.
Yeah.
We'll get some of those.
Those are the ones that I thought, we show the singles, then everybody's going to want them. You may not want the whole pack, but you're going to like the singles. Our Way had very cool postcard singles. Those were really cool. And their rice paper was awesome too. And Passion had really cool singles too. Or Desire, not Passion, Desire. Yeah, I'm going to do a black one.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The names get, they get so close.
Yeah.
So close in that kind of, meaning the same thing. Passion, Desire, I don't know. Whatever it is. Yeah, it was kind of nice not to have a whole bunch of collections that just, we were really dying to get all. And that's why I thought if we don't do a sale for 3 weeks. So if people want to get a whole bunch of the Stamperia, which we usually do, you could pre-order and know that we're not going to have a sale for 3 weeks because it's just too much. But then the releases weren't, 100% our style. So that's okay. We'll just save up some money because I would imagine that these are already their winter collections that they're releasing, the Stamperia ones. But I know that there's going to be another release too. And I would imagine Minte's working on the same thing. So I'm okay with saving a little money right now because probably the next one will be one that we like every single one of them. And the Minte one. And they'll end up being at the same time. All right, so there's our third signature. Okay, so now we've got our 3 signatures. You're like, we had our 3 signatures, we're just waiting. Now we need to decide if it makes any difference to you, which order they're going to be in, which is going to be the first signature, which is going to be the second signature, and which is going to be the third signature. So look at those and put them in order of whatever you would like. I'll let this one be my first one. Actually, I think in the order that they're in. Either that or I'll swap the first and the third. Nope, I'm just going to leave them just like that. 1, 2, 3. All right.
One of the journals just to see, feel the paper.
Say that again.
One of the journals just to see, feel the paper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What? Still needs to do a Bible journal project.
Yeah.
To be a gift for water.
I ordered one of the journals for me. Yeah, I also want to see what kind of paper they're using and see if I really, really like it. Okay, so now I have 3 pieces of cardstock that are going to be the 3 covers. I just need to decide what order. Actually, I need to cut them down. They are 12 by 12. These papers are 8.5 by 11. Our book is 9 by 6. So I want them they can be the exact same as this, 8.5 by 11. Or they can be just a hair larger so that you can see them or find them a little easier. So let me grab my cutter and cut these down real quickly. I'm going to make them, let's see what direction is up. That direction is up. I'm going to make them 8.5 high so that they're maybe just a 1/16 of an inch higher, so that they're the same height as my signatures is what I'm going to choose. So 8.5. And one more. Is there an right side? I'm going to say probably that one. Okay, and then I think when I cut the other direction, they're all 8.5 by 11, but you know when you fold a bunch of papers together, they aren't all going to end up the exact same because the ones on the outside have to fold farther. Therefore, they end up a little bit shorter. So I'm going to leave these slightly longer than 11, so they will go more around the signature. You know what I mean? Like this, when you fold them, the ones on the outside end up shorter than the ones on the inside, even though when we bind them, we're going to pull them in really tight and they'll be closer. But still, the ones on the inside are going to come out a little farther because they don't have to go around something. So if you want them to be the exact same length, you can trim them up. You can always compensate for that, trim them, before you start. But let's see, that's 11. Okay, so that's 11. I'm going to go 11.25. That would only give me an 1/8 on each side, maybe even a little bit more than 11.25. I can always trim some off. I can always trim a little bit off if I want to, if it's too much. But I like that to come all the way around because then it's easier for me to find the signature. If I want to go into, first, second, third signature. 11. And let's see. Now I forgot where I put that one. Oh, goodness. All right. So 11.25 plus a little there. Whoops. Moving it all over the place. All right. And the last one.
Julie says that's when she gets her knife and ruler out because I can't have them all higgly-piggly. Higgly-piggly when it's uneven.
Piggly wiggly. Yeah, you can do that. Some people like to trim them up. Others like to leave them because you have the irregularity, which gives a little more texture and visual interest to the book. That is completely up to you. And you can trim them with scissors or you can trim them with a ruler. Use a metal ruler and a blade. Okay, these guys can all just be moved off to the side. So I'm going to gently fold each one of these. In fact, I think I'm going to spray it first because I know that this is a little heavier. Oh, that's not the spray one. That's the pointy one. Where's my spray? Uh-oh, what happened to my spray bottle?
Probably on the floor.
Yeah.
Probably ink off my fingers. I have 2 spray bottles, and one goes much more direct, and the other one sprays, and I spread it out. And I have ink all over my finger, and I just spread that water. Now I got ink on the inside of the. And you can decide whether you want to do something with ink on the inside of this cover here.
Surprise that Margie loves Higgly Piggly.
Piggly. I am not going to fold this crease really hard. I just want to get it folded in at the right place. That's all. Because it's going to go around all the papers. It's not going to be a hard crease. Okay. So really that spray bottle has to be right here. I only use it right here, and it stays. It's even got its own place and right by the other one, and the other one's not there. I mean, the other one is there and it's not. All right, let's see if I can make this one. I'll use the back of my hand. Oh, the back of my hand has ink on it too, apparently. Great. I get my fingers wet and then touch it with that, and all the distress ink comes off on my paper. Oh. And on the outside. Okay.
Ooh,
Probably should have cleaned my hands before I did that. What'd you do, Sandy?
nothing.
Was that, ooh, cool, it worked.
Yeah, look how smooth that is.
Nice.
Huh?
Ooh. Third one.
My mouth is watering. I'm so
Nice.
excited.
Love it. Isn't it great when it works?
It sure is.
Like it's supposed to.
Not doing nearly as much cussing this week as last week.
That's because you got the hard part out of the way. Okay. So I should move. The whole reason why I put this here was to ink on it. And I'm leaving it there and getting ink on my covers. So if I move it, then there won't be ink on here. All right. So now I just need to decide which one of these do I want to be the first cover, the second cover, and the third cover, if it makes any difference to you. And I'm going to leave them just like that. First, second, and third. Okay. So let me take my signatures. First signature. This one's going to go around that signature. Now see, I made them just slightly longer than 11. So it actually covers the papers. So even though the papers might not be exactly the same, they're all inside that signature cover. I don't mind the difference in the length there usually. If it's, kind of a junk journal, and I'm going to leave it for this, my idea book, because it just adds a little bit of visual interest and texture and, whatever. But there are times I want it to be absolutely perfectly the same. Okay, and there's number 3. And that's why I didn't crease these really hard. I don't want to crack it, and it doesn't need to be because it's got to go around all these papers.
Sylvia said, Sandy, creatively colored commentary.
Creatively colored commentary.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not being nearly as creatively colored this week as last week, she says.
Yeah,
Fast.
yeah, what Marianne just said.
Okay, I'm going to grab a baby wipe and get the ink off my fingers because I don't want it all over everything. And right now we're gonna get our 8.5 by 2.5 and get the piece of paper that will cover it. That piece of paper should be, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch larger than it all the way around so that it can just fit. Let's see, is the other side dark? Yeah, you can see that better. There. So it should just be a little bit bigger all the way around because we're going to glue it on and wrap it around. We're going to miter the corners. All the things that we usually do.
Oh boy.
Super easy. Just like you did on the page on the book on the cover. But it's just
exactly.
But it's just this little piece, and it's free floating, so it's much easier to turn and use. Okay.
All righty.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with my piece here that is 2.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to either put glue on it or double stick tape. Let me see what I've got handy right here. I've got double stick tape. I'm going to try to use this up. It's kind of thin. Okay, so I'm going to go like I always do. I'm going to do a perimeter of double stick tape all the way around. If you're using glue, do a perimeter of glue. Because we want it to stick right up to the edge. And you don't want to over glue it, not super heavy glue so that it'll take forever to dry, because we're going to be punching and sewing through it. But you do want it to be enough that it will stay on. Okay, so I've got a perimeter around. Now I'm going to put, this is pretty thin, so I'll probably put 3 down the center. Okay. So now I'm going to bring this, see if there's any direction on this. Make sure that it's the top is at the top, the bottom is at the bottom. Mine there isn't, it's polka dot. So I will just set it right there. And then I'm looking for my nice, clean, sharp, pointy tweezers here. So I can just pull the paper off of that. Off of the double stick tape. And because it tears nicely, and I always tear it, just put my finger on it and tear it, I often have these little hooky things that stick out here. Just fold it back over itself because both sides of the tape is sticky. So just fold it back on. All right, let me throw these guys away so I don't glue one on accidentally. And then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to lay it down right in the center of the piece of paper. Doesn't have to be exactly center, but I'm just going to try to get about the same amount of paper all the way around it. Okay, and then where did I just put? Where did I just put that? Then you want to burnish this down. There we go. Burnish this down. I'll do it on the cardboard side so I don't put, scrape onto the paper anymore. All right, now I want to miter these corners. So you can just basically cut or I will get my smallest miter here for, this is 2 millimeter. I think my paper is probably only 1 millimeter, but it will work. When I make the line, I'll just cut on the inside of the line, knowing that my paper is actually a little thinner than this is. Draw my line. Oops, keep getting that caught. And the last one. Okay, and then grab some scissors and clip those corners off. Okay. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. All right. So move those guys over. Maybe they stick to the silicone and I can't pick them up. So I will get this out of the way and put the scissors back. I don't think I'll need them, at least not for a bit. All right. Then I'm going to come here and put double stick tape or glue on the paper that's going to be folded over onto the chipboard. I will bend it just a little bit just to get that feel started, get the paper paper feeling like it knows what direction it's going to go. Okay, and now let's get the double stick tape. I want to put one right up close to, super close to the chipboard, and if you're running glue, run it right up next to the chipboard. That way it gets on the edge and over the top. And then I want to put one at the outside edge of the paper. If there's not enough room to do both of those and they're going to overlap, then if you're running glue, it won't matter. There's always enough. But if you're doing double stick tape and there's not enough room, put the one on the inside first, then take the paper off of the top of it, and then do the one on the outside edge and let it overlap the one on the inside. Oops, I just pulled that apart. When working with smaller things, but you need 2 strips, it often has to overlap. Okay. And it might overlap on one side and not the other because you got a little closer on one side than the other. While I'm thinking about it, be sure to check and see if the people that you've invited into the group, the Facebook group Happy Paper People, check and see if they have joined. And then if they have, shoot me a message so we can see if they have subscribed to YouTube, and you can encourage them to subscribe to YouTube. We want to get 12 so that you will be in Debbie's drawing for that gorgeous folio that she made. It is really so pretty. If you guys haven't watched that 12-minute video where we showed it and told about the challenge, you'll want to, because it is really absolutely gorgeous. I would love to have it. I've invited people, but I can't qualify. It's not fair. Because we are growing very well and quickly in the group, but not everyone has come over to YouTube to subscribe. So we want to make sure that they do, because here's where we have all the fun, is on YouTube. And if you want to have even more fun, join us in Patreon. There is a link to everything. All these things, there's a link in the description box. Patreon, we have a lot of fun. We do a project each month that we do not do in the group. And I did put a message in Patreon last night, early this morning, just in case you guys haven't checked your email. Let's see. Well, then there's the public page. So we have our private Facebook group and we have our public Facebook page. You'll want to make sure that you go to the public page that is also in the description box and hit the like and follow buttons, and then click on the 3 dots or 3 lines, whatever you have there, and go to follow options, or wow, is there another way that it terms it? Follow notification options or follow options or something like that. And click on that you want to be notified anytime anything happens on that public page, because that's not a page where we post our pictures of things and have discussion. That's all done in the private group. So if there's stuff on the public page, you want to make sure that you see it. It's either announcements or talking about new things to come, or that's where we do the Thursday sale, those kinds of things. So that you want to make sure you don't miss out on. Okay, did I get them all? Sticky, 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 sticky. Okay, let's throw these away.
What happened to Candy?
I'm here.
Oh,
She just muted herself. That's all.
Nobody's talking on. They're not.
I was missing you.
Not really. Nobody's talking on chat.
So they want to talk over.
Yeah. So we always have one person who is making along with me, and then we have the second person who's the one that is reading chat and telling us what's going on there. And so if nothing's happening in chat, then Candy's doesn't have anything to say. Or if I'm talking about announcements or something, she always waits till I'm done. She's so polite.
And you're in the middle of showing them what to do, so I didn't want to.
You can do it anytime. Okay, now we're going to fold these in just like you did the covers of your books.
No, Margie, don't ever want to start chatting. Just
Please start chatting. Give Candy something to do. Yeah, start chatting. Make her read it out to me. If you have a question, and this is for every time we do anything live. If you have a question, if you put 4 question marks, 3 or 4 question marks, type your question in all caps, and then put 3 or 4 question marks after it. It jumps out, and it's so much easier to see. And
I
so,
make sure I interrupt for those ladies.
yes, if you have a question,
I don't interrupt her flow because she's trying to teach you something. So I kind of
thank you. You know, Margie, how I always get messed up and teach you what not to do. That never happens on when I'm recording tutorials. It's because your brain gets in the flow, like Candy said, and when we're chatting and I stop and I'm reading chat or laughing with you or whatever, then my brain gets out of flow and then I make mistakes here. So, but I know you guys don't care. You're with me. You're good about that. I just try to get it right on the tutorial so anybody who's watching that can see it correctly. But yeah, questions and anything else that is necessary or she wants me to see, Candy will read it out loud. So yeah, everybody quickly start chatting. Give her something that she has to read out loud. Let's put Candy to work. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not reading that, Sylvia. And if I knew them, I wouldn't tell you.
What?
Lotto numbers. That was her big question.
What was the question?
What are the winning lotto numbers? Like I tell her.
Oh, yeah, like she's going to share that. Okay, my page cracked just a little bit. Well, it didn't really, I guess it did because I can see a little bit of white, but it still feels really smooth. But I'm just going to give it a little bit of ink on the edge because that will cover that right up. I should probably pull out a grade.
Here's a song for you that Laura has modified.
Okay.
Yesterday, all my craft supplies were so far away, but now the glue and papers are here to stay.
Yesterday, all my craft supplies were far away. Today it looks as though they're here to stay. What's the next line?
Oh, I
believe in yesterday.
Don't
Right,
get
Laura?
me now.
I love music.
Donna said you can't chat and keep up, and that's fine.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why-
if you're making it, don't.
What she was saying.
Yep. If you're making it, don't. If you're making it, you don't even need to look at chat because that's always, I find that when people get thrown off is when they're trying to make it along with me and then they look at chat and then they miss some instruction or something. So yeah, you're not expected to look at chat if you're making it. All right. Here is where we are going to bind our signatures to. All 3 of them. Right here, like this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we need to make some holes. The first hole is going to be in the center. You can either use an awl or you can use a crocodile. I will do both so that you can see both. If I'm using the crocodile, I will use the smaller of the 2 holes, which is, what is that, 1/8?
Oh, okay.
I will use the 1/8 hole on the crocodile. If I'm using an awl, where's an awl? Here's an awl. I got 4 awls around here, and they're not all there. I don't know where they went. I'm going to grab a book to put underneath it so I don't stab holes in my craft mat.
Yeah, where's
My nice silicone, whatever that brand new thing is Tim Holtz came out with. I don't want to make holes in that. Whatever that, what did he call that? Was it a craft mat or what did he call it? That new silicone thing.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember. Okay, so I got her. Say it again.
Does it really matter what he called it?
Exactly. We call it what we want, right?
Julie says the big hole in the crocodile's the small hole in the crocodile is still huge for her. She says it depends. Sometimes, if you're doing something and you got a lot of papers in there, you can put the eyelet in there and then pull the string through. Your paper doesn't get ripped up.
That's true. You could put eyelets in the center, but then you won't get as much of a close
Oh,
here.
for this one, no. For hidden spine, no. If you're doing one that's not hidden, and you want those holes not to rip, or
Right.
because I tend to sometimes rip them when I'm pulling them tight.
Now, here's the thing. You don't really want to put eyelets in the book, but if you wanted to put eyelets on here, you could.
Sure
I mean,
enough.
I guess you could. Why not?
I've done them in the spine.
And
But I
in
wasn't in the spine.
Well, there's the teeny tiny eyelets too, and they will work.
Yeah.
We're going to do it without the eyelets because this one is just supposed to be basic. So everybody has made a book, and then from here on, this is why I want you to make it, because from here on we'll go, okay, here's another way to do that binding. Here's another way, to do the holes. Here's another, and you'll get all these other ideas. So we're going to do the basic 3-hole pamphlet stitch on here. And then down the road, we'll do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I like that one. It's super easy. As long as you know the 3-hole one, the 5-hole one is super easy. So the first hole we want to be in the middle. You can eyeball it, or you can grab your measuring stick.
She said her son was visiting and won $800 on the lotto and gave her $200. She promptly went to Bonnie Lake's Ben Franklin craft store and spent it.
Good for you. Good for you. That's hilarious. What a nice son, though. Okay, so if I were to measure the center, and this is, 8.5, that means 4 1/4 is going to be center. So that means right here is center. Can't see that. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna do it in the center so I can get it on the gray. Hopefully. Although I kind of wanted it centered, so it's okay. It's off center, but okay. So this is my, where is it? There it is. This is my middle point, top to bottom. Should be 4 1/4 above it, and 4 1/4.
Oh, you just went robotic for me.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Okay. Oh, she froze.
What?
You froze.
What? Oh.
And you're out of focus now too.
Okay, give me 1 second. I didn't think about when it threw me out if it changed my settings, so it did. Darn it. I forgot. I should have checked that before. All right, that should take care of it. Okay, hopefully.
I need to focus it first. It's still not focused. It's not as bad as it was, but it's not
Right.
so.
If I give it a second.
Yeah. Just give it
Okay. Well, let's give it a second. I'll grab something. There's 4 1/4 right there. Okay.
Yeah, you're right about the 10-minute mark.
We have only 10 minutes left. Oh, shoot. Took way too long getting those ready. Well, we only need 10 minutes to do this. Let's see. Is it focused?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We want that first hole to be in the center, top to bottom, and the center left to right. So it's 2 1/2. Let's see. There's the top to bottom mark. And if it's 2 1/2 left to right, that means 1 1/4 left to right, right? So if I put it on my mark, that was top to bottom, and then I go to 1 1/4. And you can eyeball this. What'd you say?
Said, Domo arigato, Mary Roboto.
That's hilarious.
That's a good one, Laura.
That was good, Laura. That was good. Just stick your all in at that point. You don't even need to mark it. Just stick your all in and make you a hole here, or at least get one started that you can come back and punch over or stick the all in farther. There you go. There's a hole. Okay. Now, it does not have to be this exact. Honestly, it does not have to be this exact because you don't see this. You'll never see this. So, but if you really, get that first one in the center. Now, we have 2 more. So we want one to the left and one to the right. And we just want to split the difference. So take this half and go halfway through and put one right there. Again, I'm not going to measure these because it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. This is a spot where once you've got, as long as you've got them all on the same row, the same, height there, then it's going to be fine enough. Okay, and I'm going to go this direction, and I'm going to put one in the center there, and I'm going to put one more. Okay, there's our center hole for all of them. All right, so now I'm going to go between the center hole and the top, find halfway and go a little farther than halfway. Exactly where, again, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to follow this center hole up and make another hole up here. The only thing that matters is that these three are basically at the same level. These three are basically at the same level, and the three on the bottom. How high or low they are on this spine really doesn't matter. Okay, so there's a center one there.
Is it better to spread them out or keep them closer together from top to bottom?
Spread them out evenly. Ignore.
Okay.
Okay, spread them out evenly because this is where each signature is going to be bound into.
Okay.
And that will give each signature the same amount of space as you fill it up to expand without all being in a tiny little section in the middle.
Okay.
And you've got a 2.5-inch spine, so there's plenty of room. If you had a 1-inch spine, you'd be trying to put all three into that 1-inch space, and you would end up with little spine like this with 3 signatures, and your mouth would be like this when after you get full. So,
okay, I got you.
And some people really don't like that, and some people really do like that. Now I'm going to flip it over. I've got 3 holes here, 3 holes here. I'm going to flip it over so I can see the middle ones. Again, I'm going up to the top here. Top, bottom doesn't matter because they're essentially identical. And I'm going to make a hole in the center. And I just did all these with the awl. I didn't even use the crocodile, but you guys who have a crocodile know how to use it. I would just put it on the smaller hole and put it in there and punch it. Makes a cleaner hole, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it. Not going to see these holes when we're done. Okay, so I've got 3. I'm going to get the third one right there. Okay. A little bit lower, tiny bit lower, but won't matter. My thing slid and I got a little bit off. Okay.
So they were tired and a bit silly. I'm sure no one noticed.
Who's that, Laura?
Her song, she said, it's just a poke through the left and so through the right. Let's do the journal warp again.
Laura, I kind of get punch drunk too when I get tired, so this should be fun.
Oh, Margie's supposed to have groceries delivered in between 2 and 3, and they haven't showed up. She hopes nobody else got them. Yeah, I got them. I got them
Okay.
for you, Margie.
Really? Yeah. All right. So get your string, get your needle. The needle does not need to be pointy. It can be a book binding needle. It does not need to be pointy because you're not, going through anything. Well, sorry, you are. We're going to make holes in this one too. All right, guys, we're going to go 10 minutes over because we have to get these signatures in. I didn't realize it was taking so long to ink those. I thought we had plenty of time because we're only doing 20 minutes worth of stuff in 2 hours. Okay. I want to decide how much string I need. So I'm going to go the length of the book, with extra there. I'm going to go about three times the length of the book. And I always leave a little bit extra just in case. I always have plenty to cut off, but I would rather have extra string, extra thread, and cut it off than be cut short because you can't add on. Then you have to go back and start over.
Rachel do it from Roxy's Creation?
I'll say that again.
Rachel from Roxy's Creation, she doesn't cut hers off.
Oh, she just leaves it on and cuts it when she's done?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Way to save. I mean, if you have to worry about it, if you don't have no string, that's the way.
Right. Then
yeah, I've seen it where they don't even cut it off until the end.
Then
she
you're
might cut it out, and then she doesn't cut it off the spool.
Then you only use exactly what you do, so
Pull it through too.
it works. Okay.
Laura has to run. She has a meeting at 1. Oh, have fun at your meeting, Laura.
Oops. I didn't grab a large enough eye hole needle.
I know, I hate when I do that.
So I turn around and grab one, but I got it through. So, all right. So right now I'm going to just take this and set it to the side. Okay. So we have 3 signatures and I have them in order that I'm going to put them in 1, 2, 3. Okay. Set 1 and 3 aside. And if you need to, set them on 2 opposite sides of you so you don't get them mixed up. And you want to take the center one, the center signature. Okay, now I want everything to be put together, kind of sort of centered in here. I need to go find the center of it. There it is. I want to make sure that everything is in tight as it can be, and not moving around top to bottom. It often helps, especially if you haven't done it before, it helps to clip this together. So giant paper clips, regular paper clips would probably work because these are not big, thick papers, or clips like this. It doesn't matter, any kind of clips. But especially if it's your first time, I would clip these together. I want to keep my center in the center just right where it's supposed to be, and I'm going to clip the left and the right side to make sure that they don't slide. And then I end up sewing them in ski-wampus.
Ski-wampus.
Ski-wampus. Ski-wampus. Okay. Again, there are multiple ways to do this, trying to make it very simple if you've never done it before, so you get the gist of it. Okay, this is our center one, our center signature, so it's going to go in the set of center holes. The first signature, second signature, third signature, right?
Clowns to the left, jokers to the right, stuck in the middle with you.
Yep, stuck in the middle with you. Where did I set my awl? It's over here. All right, I'm going to take this awl and I'm going to put it in the center, top to bottom, and the center left to right. This is going to go in the center, and this is just a way for you to figure out where it's going. Because I remember the very first time and being very unsure, am I doing it in the right place? And here's how you know it's exactly right. If you take this piece of chipboard that you're making as the hidden spine and you align it top to bottom, it should fit exactly 8.5. It should fit exactly. Align it top to bottom, and then you put this in the hole, and then you want to just make sure that you are in the crease. That's the only thing you have to make sure. So sometimes it's easier to use a pin because it's longer. I can do this and know that I'm top to bottom. If I do this, I am in the crease. There's the crease. Double check myself. I moved. I can poke a little hole. I can see that my pin is in the crease. Okay. So this one should already be in the crease. Let me check it. I can't see the crease up there. This one should be in the crease. And it is. Okay, so all I'm going to do is stab a little bit right there so I'll be able to see the hole. I'm going to stab a little bit right here so I can see the hole. And then this one should be in the crease too because those two are aligned. So I'm just going to stab a little bit so I can see the hole. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my awl, and where those holes are, there's one. And if you were slightly off, it's only a pinprick. Just move it slightly to the left or right to get your awl in there to make the hole. Okay, so there's my awl. I can feel it into the book, so I know I'm all the way through. And where's my center hole? I can't see it, but I can feel it right there. Okay, make that one. Get up on top of this. I'm going to try not to bump the camera. Okay, I feel that one into the book, so I know I'm all the way through. And I'm going to come to the top. Again, I can't see it, but I can feel it right there. So I'm going to stab that one and work my all the way through. And as soon as that one's into the book, then I'm good. Okay, now, if you want to measure that way to know that you've got them in the exact right place, now another way to do this is make a template. And just in the interest of time, I didn't want to take time to show you how to make a template, but we'll do that another day. That's a good Monday jumpstart. Make a template and how to do 2 or 3 different styles of binding. So if you're going to use this same way, then we need to mark our first and our third signatures before we move on, because once I sew this to this, I will not be able to put it in here to align it, right?
In the interest of time, why don't you sew in one journal or show them how to do it?
Okay, but we have to make these holes, or once we sew it onto this,
Oh, that's what you're using that as your template, sorry.
they won't be able to, yeah, because I didn't make another template. So this time, this is the first one. So this is going to go in the first column of holes. So I know that I'm going to start with the center hole. If I can get a hold of that silly needle. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with the center hole, and I'm going to make sure it's lined up with the top and the bottom. And if it's lined up with the top and the bottom, all my signatures will be lined up because they're all the same height. So center hole, and now I just want to make sure that I'm in the crease. There I'm in the crease. And I need to go slightly higher. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to stab a hole right there that I'll be able to see. And I'm going to come down to the bottom. I can kind of look at the bottom and see that it seems to be in the crease. So put this here, double check it. We'll do a full-on template. In fact, we'll make a template that people can just keep and use. I didn't think that through. Probably could have just inked the pages ahead of time and then taken that time to make a template. Okay, so that's where my center is. So the top, I want the top to be right on the crease.
This part is the stressful part, everybody says.
Oh, okay. Okay, you know what? Take your time. I will take my time, make sure.
Yeah, they say when they do it, it's not the ones that are doing it with it, but they said Linda and Julie, this is their most stressful part of making a journal.
Oh, but you do it right. It doesn't have to be. Okay, you know what? I haven't recorded it yet, but I will record a tutorial because I'm recording this whole thing in tutorial style, not these long lives. So part 1 and part 2 are already up. So I will record. Well, what I didn't do was clip these together, and that I should have done. Part 1 and 2 are already up. I will record part 3, which will be binding the signatures, putting the signatures together and binding them in here. Okay, where's my awl? Okay, where's my center hole? Here we go. And I'll break it down easily. I will show how to make a template and use that template because it really doesn't have to be so stressful and difficult. I don't find this the most stressful part. And
well, because we've all thrown them in upside down, ladies. I don't think anybody's not done that.
Oh, yeah, you may laugh at me when I'm constantly checking the front to align myself. Do I still have the books, right side up? But that's why I do it, so that I don't have it upside down, because I turn it all the way around to work on different things. And then same thing with the signature.
And there's some of them patterns. Sometimes if you don't pay particular attention,
yes,
it kind of looks like it's right side up. You get something, you're like all your signatures are the same way, but they're all upside down because you looked at it wrong.
And it's easy to take that signature out and redo it, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I totally understand, though, the first couple of books that you do, this being the most stressful part, because you're like, oh, no, I'm actually sewing it in. I do get that. If it's the
see me shaking.
Okay, so this is number 2. This is number 1. Let's just make the holes in number 3. because we're using this as our template. Okay. So we'll line that up. We'll line that up. And we're going number 3, the exact same. Where's my needle? There's no. Where's my needle?
Figure it right now.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to the far right column this time. Put my needle in the center, and I will get into that groove there. And now I see if I need to move it up or down to make sure these are aligned. There we go. It's a little crooked. Doing that real fast. I'm not getting all my pages straight, but okay. So I've got a hole there, and now the top. Let me just make sure it's in the groove. Oh, it's right on, dead on. Okay. The hole there, and the bottom. Is it in the groove? It is in the groove. All right, a little hole there. That's just my dot as to where to go. Grab the awl, come back here. I always have a hard time seeing them, but I can feel where they are. Hi, KK. Okay, let's all that one out.
Julie says she needs an emoji with chewing his fingernails.
Okay, there's one. Let's go to the top. Feel where that hole is right there. Get the second one. And then we're going to go back, and if you want, I'll only sew in the one, the center binding, or the center signature. But I kind of think that the sewing in and the gluing down are the most challenging and awkward parts for people who haven't done it before. So I'm okay taking a few more minutes, but I have to be out at at 2:20, about 2:22. I have an appointment. I'm gonna need time to go. Okay, so there's the third signature right there. All right, so go back and grab the second signature. We are going to bind the second signature in first because that is the center. That is the center. Okay, now make sure your signature is right side up. It's easy when there's a pocket in the center. It's easy for me to always tell that that's right side up. And this, there really isn't a right side except that I did a top and a bottom, and they may not be the exact distance, the exact same distance. So I want to make sure that whatever I had as the top is still the top and the bottom still the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to take this thread or string or twine or whatever you're sewing with. And I'm going to go down the center hole. We're just going to do a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch down the center hole and down the center hole of what I'm binding it to. Okay. And when I pull that through, I'm going to leave a tail, a fairly long tail. I can figure out how long that is later. I just want to leave a fairly long tail so it doesn't get pulled through accidentally. Okay, so that's the center one, went through the center hole. So down the center, up the bottom, and it doesn't matter whether it's the bottom or top, but if you've never done it before and you're following along, we'll go up the bottom. So up our template or our piece that we're binding it to, and then up the book on the bottom. Sometimes you have to spread your papers apart to make sure you get through all the holes. Okay, so I went down the center. There's my tail. I went down the center. And then I came up the bottom right here. Okay. And now I'm going to go down the top. Just leave that tail hanging out there. I'm going to go down all the way up to the top, go down the top and through the top hole. Now make sure that you're in the center hole on all 3 levels. It's not fun if you bind it to the first one on the top and the center one on the second row. Then you have to go back and undo it. That's for your first and your third signatures going in with it. Okay, so I just went down the top. They're coming out right there. And I'm not worrying about it being tight. I'll tighten it up. See, my tail has gotten pulled, so that's why I leave.
Really said you're doing a great job keeping up with Marianne.
Sandy is doing a great job. She really is. And then back up the center. Okay, now when you come up the center, what you want to try not to do is to split the thread that you have there. Try to come up next to it. Try not to split the thread. All right, Sandy, where are you at? Down the center, up the bottom, down the top.
I'm
right with me.
I think I'm right here. Came up the center.
Perfect. Okay. So anybody who's not quite there yet, we went down the center, we came up the top, then we went down the top and came back up the center. Now I'm in the center, and I have two strings like this, right? And I have one long one between it. So when I come up, I want to put the string that I just came up with on the opposite side of this center thread as the one that's already there that I started with. It doesn't matter which side, just so that they are on both sides of that. So when I tie a knot, that's tied in the center. Now, before I tie the knot, I want to turn it over and make sure it's tight. It's not very tight. So I'm going to gently, I started in the center and I went down and came up this side. So I'm going to gently tug that. And then I went down the top and I came up the center. So I'm going to gently tug that. Now I know it's tight. Okay, so now turn it whatever direction you need to get yourself a knot tied right there. Let's see, I'm going to try to use the side that does not have the needle in it. So I don't go flipping the needle across the room.
Do I need the needle in it? Mine came off.
No, actually you don't at this point because we're finding that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And there might be, I've got so much thread on here. I might have enough to, well, no, because I left a super long tail. Probably won't have enough to do the next one, but yeah, that's totally okay. All right. So I would give it 2 or 3 knots. Once you've got the first one on, then it's easier. You don't have to try to hang on to that. 2 or 3 knots. Now, see, there are ways to do this and not have this string come out here so that you don't see it. Sometimes we like it out here because we leave these and we put charms on them or different things like that. But maybe there's times when you don't want to see them. You want it bound without this string, and we can do that too. So again, we're just starting at square one. Okay, so now I'm going to cut off my super long string. I'm not going to decide how long they need to be right now. I'm just going to cut this one off that's like 2 feet long, because I can decide that later. It might depend on what I want to tie on there, how much I want to tie on there, whether I want to do something like this, you know, whether it's a shape that's cut out of paper and glued on, or whether I want to tie a charm or multiple charms. So that doesn't need to be decided right now. But I can remove those. And now I have center signature. That is signature 2 of 3 that is bound on here. Right? So we can't glue it on yet until we get 1 and 3 bound on. So let's see if I can quickly get some.
Sandy looks like an old pro. Like she's made.
See?
Aw, thank you.
See? Good job, Sandy. I knew you would.
I'm shaking like a damn leaf, though.
Our strings are long enough to glue something pretty over the string ends, but not hanging.
Yeah.
It's personal preference. Yeah.
Well, if you,
see the string where you don't see string.
Yep, both ways. And if you want the string to be a different color and you have a white wax string and you want it to be a different color, you can set it on an ink pad and then hold your dauber over it and just pull the thread through it, the string through it, and it will color it. So easy to do that too. All right, grab the first signature. Sandy, we're putting in the first.
I'm in
or the third, whichever you're doing. I want to make sure that this one is still right side up. So I don't put my signature in upside down. I make sure that this one's right side up. I know it is because of that pocket. And I'm going to go down the center again and down the center of this one. This will be much faster because you've done it once. So down the center, up the bottom.
I need another hand.
Exactly. 3 hands would be helpful when binding books. Okay, and then all the way to the top, down the top. Let's see, where's my hole? There, clear up there. Is that it? Yep, that is it. Okay, down the top. Well, that seems a little high. Did I totally get that one off, or did I turn it upside down? I did. Let's see.
You're almost at quarter past.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it is past.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. There it is. Okay. So down the top, through the bottom, and then back up the center. This is our final.
So can we drop the descriptive adjective old?
Oh,
pro, like old pro.
oh. How about just pro? Yeah.
After all, her colorful commentary is being impacted enough by
Really?
Margie's birthday there. Oh, wait, well, whose did I get then?
Really? Who's cheese? I guess that's your cheesecake. Okay.
So it's not.
Okay.
No.
So down the center, up the bottom, all the way over up to the top. So down the top, and then back up the center.
Yeah, I got that. But now that
Okay.
I'm looking at it this way, they're not the same. See, this one's sticking up higher than this one. I must have got it.
Okay.
So,
That's part of the learning of the very first one. And that's why I say don't use your favorite paper on the first one, because now you find, all right, I need to be more careful when I'm punching those holes. I need to make sure that they're, aligned the same when I do that hole. It's just, yeah. Another thing that you can do is find that spot on this spine here and draw a line across it. And so when you go to make your holes with your awl, you have a line across, and all you do is punch the 3 holes. So that
it's still going to work in the book, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was worried about.
No, it'll still work in the book. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I see that. Okay. Cool.
Now we have signature 1 and 2 in. Yeah, mine is not exact either, Sandy. So no worries.
Good.
And now we're nope. By the time I keep throwing them around here, and I'm not going back and checking to see if they're still in alignment, they're kind of squirrely. All right, so now we're going to the 3rd signature. I need some more string.
I'm still shaking.
Oh, that's the cigarettes. That's no.
Oh, you think that's from coming off the cigarette?
Yes, I do. I do. I don't think it's this. I think it's the nicotine. And I think you're doing fantastic with it. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I know it's hard. You know what? Nicotine is probably the most addictive subject. Most addictive substance out there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that this is upright. That is top. This is bottom. This is top. This is bottom. Okay. I've got it the right direction, but I'm actually going to turn it upside down altogether so that it's on my left side, because I'm right-handed. It's a little easier for me to deal with. So I'm going to go down the center. Okay. And you can even turn it sideways if it's easier to deal with, because at this point, these books signatures can lay here and your center spine is going to just kind of stand up. So that is actually easier. Okay. So down the center, I'm going to leave a long tail. I'm going to come up the top. Up the top. Let's see here if I can get. into the hole without seeing it. There we are. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way. Nope, I was supposed to go up the bottom. Oh, it doesn't matter. On this one, it doesn't matter. I did the bottom first, not the top on the other. So down the center, up the bottom, all the way to the top, down the top, and then back up the center. And the top and bottom in this instance are interchangeable. So if you did it the other way, it doesn't matter. Okay. Oops, didn't mean to bump the camera. All right, and back up the center. I'm going to try not to split the thread. All right. Pull it through. I can dump that needle now. Now, remember, we want to make sure that one of these is on each side of the thread that's going across, so I can tie that down in the middle. I'm going to check it for tightness. I can grab hold of this and just pull it a little bit to make sure that it's tight, and then I'll pull this one to pull that through. There we go.
Still works. You did it.
Yep.
Works to enjoy, and yes, giving up your best quiet friend is hard. You just have us now.
Aww.
Giving up your best quiet friend? I don't get that.
The smoking.
Oh.
Holy guacamole, look at that.
Well, woo, look how cool that is. Look how cool that is. Just stop thinking of it as your best friend. Think of it as your nasty sidekick that's always with you. And now you're choosing to hang out with your best friends.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. That's why I'm so proud of you. Okay, there we have 3 signatures. All 3 signatures on 2. Now, if you were doing this directly into the book, this is what your spine would look like. How cool is that?
Freaking awesome.
Yeah, and what if you put 4 or 5 signatures in there and you had 4 or 5 rows of this? That would look really cool. Yeah, that would look really cool. And you can see, as you look at this, you can see next time where I need to pay a little more attention, that these are level.
Yeah.
But that's where you can take and draw a line right across. So all 3 are at the exact same level.
Right.
You can also draw a line this way. And that line could be drawn on this back side where it's still paper, not on your paper. And then that's going to be glued down and you wouldn't see it.
Right.
But I don't like to do the all from this side, because see how all this stuff sticks out of the holes?
Yeah, yeah.
That's then sticking out on the other side, and I don't like that. So if you used a hole punch, then you could do that, because you would just, the hole punch would be totally fine. Okay, so it is now ready to put in your journal. Whoop, whoop. Okay, get your cover. Make sure your cover is right side up. This is where we often glue it in upside down. I know my flowers are going that way, so this is right side up. And this is going to fit in right here, just like that. Isn't that cool? Now, let me show you some options that you have right here. A lot of people will glue this down, and then they will take some kind of decorative thing and put it right here to kind of cover that, edge where it comes together. And you can see I like a thinner one, not a big, fat, thick one, because it makes a huge bump. But a thinner one doesn't make a big bump. Some people will put, some washi tape right there, glue it down, or a piece of lace, or a piece of trim or binding, something like that. Other people will put that on first, so it comes out from underneath that, and then over it. If I put it on, I like to put this down first and put that over, because I want it to cover this so that you literally can't see where it's bound. It's bound in the book. You can see the string, but you can't see where it's bound, and there's no binding on the outside. It is truly hidden.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down now. I'm going to use this book underneath it a little, because I have that ring fastener up top, and that ring fastener it doesn't lay flat, and so it's lumpy, and it gets really weird. Okay, so this needs to be glued down with something that is going to glue quickly, stay, and be strong. I'm going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac up by my ring fastener. What I want to do though, before I do that, is hold my book up, make sure I've got it right side up again, and make sure that's the right side up of the book. Okay, it is. Now I want to hold it up there and I want to look and see exactly where the edges of my hidden binding are going to go. Okay, they are shorter than the inside paper, the inside lining paper of my book.
Right.
So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, okay, so they're going to be about 1/8 of an inch up on both sides. All right, so now I know where to put it, because once I have Fabri-Tac on here, I don't want to hold it there and have it sticking to it and be trying to move it. But I want it just a little Fabri-Tac underneath these legs. That's the only reason I'm doing that. Although Fabri-Tac is great to glue down this whole hidden binding, honestly. It holds. You have a minute to move it around if you need to, but it holds extremely well and dries quickly. So it is actually a good option. You could use hot glue. You can use any of the paper glues, art glitter glue, Barely Art, Stamperia, anything, any of those that you like. So let's see, where is my Barely Art glue? I think I'll do that one. All right, so I'm going to put the glue on the spine. I'm sorry, that didn't make sense to you. On this, the hidden spine. Because if I put it on the book spine, I don't know exactly where to stop, and I don't want glue oozing out all over the place. So just like everything else, I'm going to put the glue on the smaller of the two pieces that I am putting together. So I'm going to come over here, and odds are I want the edges to be down really good, really well. So odds are there's going to be a little glue oozing out. And I will just grab a wet wipe and be ready to wipe that up. And it dries clear. And if you're going to go back and put any kind of trim on it, you know, you don't see that anyway, but it dries clear. So, and a wet wipe will wipe it up immediately when it happens right off of your cardstock and not hurt it at all. So I'm just going to make sure that this has plenty of glue. That means I'm going to have to hold it for a minute to make sure that it goes down. I'm going around the holes, but I'm not going over the holes because I don't want glue going through the holes and getting into my paper. And then I go try to open up the signatures and the paper's stuck. So, all right. So I should have plenty. I think I'm running out of art glitter glue.
What?
I know. I do have a little refill bottle over here that's got some left. But this little guy, I feel like I have to refill it way too often because it's so small. Okay. Now, my last time before I put it down, I'm going to check top and bottom. This is my flower facing up, so that should be top. I can check one of those folded up pockets and make sure that this is the bottom over here. There's one. Okay, that's the bottom. All right, good. So I haven't sewn my signatures in backwards, and I'm not about to glue the whole thing in backwards. That's all I'm double checking. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and just set it on here. I want to center it left to right as well as top to bottom. And let's see, top to bottom. I got to get over this. I hope my head doesn't get in the middle there. Sorry, but top to bottom, I know I need about 1/8 of an inch. Left to right, it should fit right in between those two so that it will still close. It should fit right between. It's the same width as my spine width, remember? So it should fit right between my two grooves.
It's half past. Don't you gotta go?
20 after, and I'm.
Well, it's 30 minutes after.
It is 20 after? Okay.
It's 30 after.
Shoot.
You gotta go.
Yes, I do. All right.
All right.
All right. So you're going to glue this down. You got it? Not awesome. I would hold this for a minute just because I put a lot of glue on there and I want to make sure it solidifies and does not slide around. I'm already a little far down there, but it's stuck good. It's not moving anywhere, even if I want to move it. Okay. And that's that. I will record the tutorial so that
Yeah, don't forget thumbs up, ladies.
yes, thank you, please, for the thumbs up, especially for Sandy being willing to be on here, making her first journal. I think she did amazing every step of the way.
I had a blast.
I'm so glad.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
So, let's see. We'll talk about that offline. Okay, we'll figure that out. All right. So now go gather up one of everything of the mass makes that we've done, if you didn't already gather that. And
Sylvia says Sandy is our hero.
see?
Aw, thank you.
Sandy's our hero. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're ever
Oh, Marianne, you're running late.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Yes, I have an appointment at 3:00, and it's going to take me half an hour to get there, and I got
They're
to
going to be late.
change my clothes. So, okay, there you go. There is your journal. We can figure out. We'll do these later. We'll do the decorating later. That is your journal ready to go. In your cover. I hope you guys did that. Dawn, I hope you got all the way through.
We're sheroes, not heroes.
Oh, there you go. And there's plenty of room here. Don't worry about that room, because when you start filling this up, here's the thing. If this comes straight out like that, look how much room there is. Yeah, there's a lot of gap. That's so that you can fill it up and you won't end up like this.
Yeah.
So you want room to fill it up. If you like to put a lot of
Go,
stuff
Marianne.
in.
They're saying, go, Marianne, go.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Love
Bye,
you
Judy.
all.
Thanks
Hey,
for
let's
watching.
post pictures of your
Bye,
books
everybody.
that you did in the group so we can see them. Bye, guys. See you Thursday for
Bye.
my
Love you.